It's black hat time. Mwah. It's time to travel to the dark side. That's right. That's right, yes. Yes, as a matter of fact, our stuff is so black hat that secret operatives were sent in to mess with our technology. That's why we had a little delay here, but we overcame it, you know. First Google, the fire alarm thing, now these other people. Because what you're about to hear about could just cause just internet domination, literally. If you do it right, you can dominate. So while everybody's getting situated, a lot of people have been asking me about my t-shirt and everything. And because I've been known to wear all these different t-shirts and stuff. And I got tired of people asking me where I got it. Hey, what's up, man? And I got tired of people asking me, so I figured I had to be like Jay-Z and Diddy and go into the clothing business. So I got a new business, swankteam.com. Because we don't say swag no more. Swag is dead. We don't say swag. Grandma be talking about she got swag. Nah, we say swank. So it's all about swank, all right? So swankteam.com. There's nothing there yet but a squeeze page because I just had this business idea last week. But all the t-shirts you see me wearing, you be able to buy them, and I'll have some more designs. I got some more to wear for y'all. Matter of fact, my wife was teasing me talking about I'd be like Diana Ross with my outfit changes because I want to show off on my t-shirts. What'd you say? Oh yeah, yes. It got to be yes. Gotta keep it fresh. I'm from Baltimore. We got coordinated colors, suede Air Force Ones. So, all right. The moment everybody's been waiting for. All right. So our next speaker, you guys hopefully probably sat on this webinar. Had the pleasure of meeting this young man a few years ago. And, from the jump, I was just really impressed with him. Actually, this theme keeps coming up. It's just such a theme here because it works, but I met him at a mastermind. Actually, he was actually having a mastermind in Vegas, in his mansion in Vegas. And so he invited me to step in there, and we sat down there. And I swear, like 10 minutes in, I was texting my wife talking about this guy's the smartest affiliate marketer I've ever met in my life. I mean, he just blew me away. I mean, it was like I was already pretty successful at that point, made lots of millions. I was already making $50K a day, and I felt stupid walking out of that mansion. I was like, man, I'm just leaving all kinds of money on it. I'm just like, man. So, but since then, we've had many adventures together. We've made a lot of money together. Had a couple of companies together, and we're still, partnering to this day. I tell you, I mean, this guy, man, I mean, his mind is just, I don't know how he thinks of this stuff. I don't know. I wish he could bottle it so we could sell that. What's that movie, Limitless? Take that pill, take like a Lambo Loop pill and just, and because you talk about making money. I mean, y'all, 50K a day is nothing. This guy, he was an advertiser selling diet supplements, and I think they was doing something like 30,000 sales a day. Not $30,000, 30,000 sales a day. All right, so so you can do the math. So this guy is somebody you want to listen to, and so without further ado, Mr. Luke Sample, aka Lambo Luke.
number 2 is break the rules. We have so many rules in life about everything. I say break the rules, not the law, but break the rules. It is impossible to be a maverick or a true original if you're too well behaved and don't want to break the rules. You have to think outside the box. That's what I believe. After all, what is the point of being on this earth if all you want to do is be liked by everyone and avoid trouble? The only way that I ever got any place was by breaking some of the rules.
What's up, DC? So, I feel at home here with Greg's people. I get to say what I want to say for once, because I think this was advertised as a Black Hat night, which gives me a little more leeway to say some stuff that you guys probably haven't heard before. And if you guys promise me to keep some of the stuff I say in this room, or most of it, I'll give you some really good stuff. So, without further ado, I first want to give you a little bit of a warning. And my goal with this warning and the next couple of slides is to get half of you to leave. All right? Because this is not going to be for everybody, okay? So I don't want you to waste your time listening to me. When you guys have learned a lot of really cool traffic stuff, you should be up there doing it, right? You learned a lot of stuff. So if you are not going to meet the criteria, some of these next slides, go. You are not going to hurt my feelings, okay? Because I'm probably going to hurt yours if you stick around, all right? So I just want to make sure that that warning is there. So basically we're going to talk about some advanced Black Hat affiliate tactics. I say affiliate tactics loosely, you'll see why. Legal disclaimer for the cameras. This is for informational purposes only. This is not legal advice. Seek a competent attorney for legal advice. Any relationship to real characters based on my fiction is strictly coincidental and all that whatever stuff, all that good stuff. So, I'm not an attorney. Don't ask me legal questions. I'm going to tell you how to make money. You go talk to your attorney about if you can do it safely or not, okay? So, we're going to get real. And this is the first time I've really had the ability to do this, so Greg gave me the leeway here, which I appreciate. So, let's start here. White hat only affiliates, this is not for you. Okay? If you're a white hat only guy and you're not open to black hat, doors that way. One of my favorite Greg Davis sayings. What's that middle one say over here? Don't be scared. And that is so important, and I heard Lloyd say it in his presentation as well. That is so important because every time I get to, I have a couple of different products, and I've done some coaching, and I've been able to help some people. One of the biggest problems I see with guys, and guys that have been in the industry for years, is they're wimps. They wimp out on little tiny things, and they're afraid. It reminds me of, I've also had the opportunity to help some people in like general computing classes. And so we'll teach like usually older folks how to use Microsoft Word or whatever. And the thing says, it'll pop up and say, press any key. And they'll stare at the screen. And would you press a key? And they say, which one? The screen says, press any key. I said, but which key? I said, just slam your head on the keyboard and that'll work, right? So they're scared. They're worried. They're not dumb. They're not anything else other than scared to press that button because they don't know, they might break something, whatever. Okay, so don't be scared is huge, okay? If you're an affiliate, this is one of my biggest pet peeves, especially with my coaching clients, people that are afraid to lose CPA network accounts, Google accounts, Facebook accounts. Again, Greg's setting me up, teeing me up just perfectly here. What does that last one say? Google and Facebook are not the cops. They're not. Their interest is not yours. You have, a lot of times, opposing interests. Okay? This is not a game. This is not, I always like to say, this is not T-ball. Okay? We're keeping score. All right? We're not playing that game. And only the starters get to play. Somebody's family eats at the end of the day, and somebody's doesn't. So do you want it to be Sergio's family, or do you want it to be yours? Okay? So if you're afraid to lose an affiliate account because you're too lazy to sit there and fill out another application that takes 5 minutes, this is not for you. Please exit. Okay? That is another really big one. Who cares if you lose an account? Get another one. This goes for CPA network accounts. This goes for Facebook accounts. This goes for Google accounts. I don't care what it is. You can get another one. And you didn't break the law because you put an ad with cleavage on it on Facebook. People freak out. They got an email from Facebook. Like, gives a damn. All right? So, this is a huge one. And I saw this in Lloyd. I see this in Greg. I see this in some of my other partners, and a lot of successful people happen to come from, a lot of times, from sports backgrounds. I relate. I played ball in school and all that. And you learn really fast, not to be a whiner when the coach says, let's go, we're running lines. Let's go, we're running stairs. We're lifting today. Guess what, guys? We'll see you 3 times a day. You whine, what happens? You're gone. You don't play. You don't start. Well, in this industry, unfortunately, a lot of these guys, especially these gurus, cater to whiners. Okay? So if you're used to whining and bitching and moaning, go. Okay? And this is not only important for the initial part of what I'm going to talk about, but for life in general. All right? I saw Lloyd up here, and it just kind of hit me. This is a guy who stands across from another man, real man a lot of times, and looks him in the eye and says, we're going to war. And he goes at it. He doesn't bitch and moan and whine and complain, right? It's a fight, and he goes after it, okay? So a lot of times what I find is the sports guys don't tend to be whiners and complainers and quitters because they've been through it. They've already been trained not to be that way. Okay, so if you come from a sports background, you'll get it instantly. If you don't, you get it quickly. Man, I've heard it a few times said differently, and probably not quite as blunt as I said it. And if you don't take action, this is my other pet peeve. one of the things I always like to say is, you know, you have the guy that goes out fishing, and he comes in and says, I didn't catch anything. What'd you do? And you go out and have potato chips. Did you get your line in the water? Did you do something? I can promise you, I haven't figured it out yet. I've tried how in the world you can get your bank account to grow without doing anything. You might have been lucky, been at the right place at the right time or something, right? But typically you have to do something. Okay? So if this is any of you, this is not going to work, because the black hat stuff is, you're going to run into a lot more hurdles, and you're going to run into a lot more trials and issues. Okay? And if you are mentally weak, you are going to last about 3 seconds. Okay? So, who's going? Okay. Tough group. I'm calling BS. Calling BS on this. You guys prove me wrong, I hope, but I'm calling BS. So, this is what this is not for. So, I'm just prepping you guys, getting you ready. I don't want to hear anything, what if they ban my account? I don't want to hear it. Greg doesn't want to hear it either. Okay? All right. So, now that the wimps are gone, we can get started a little bit. So Greg, I know, said a few things about me. You guys probably already know. I've been doing this since like '99, so I'm kind of a grandpa in the space. Started with a handful of quarters and bought old clothes and put them on eBay. And they weren't even my quarters. They were my mom's from her laundry room, right? And so we would go out and beat the old ladies to the yard sales and buy all the old clothes and put them on eBay. And we rolled that over and started doing more and more businesses, right? So I've gone from that to affiliate marketing to, being an advertiser to network owner and a bunch of other things, product creation and all that stuff, right? So I've had a good amount of time to see a lot of perspective. And what we're going to talk about here really, what I would always recommend for somebody who really wants to make a lot of money fast, and I mean a lot of money, not like if you want to do a couple of grand a month or whatever, but if you want to do $50,000 a month fast, there's no other way to do it than black hat, as far as I've seen, unless you just really luck out. Okay? The safest way to do it, this is going to twist your mind a little bit, but think about this, write this down. The safest way to make $50,000 a month is black hat. It sounds backward, right? Okay, so Greg's coined the term Lambo Luke because I have a car problem. These are some of my cars. Whatever, this is not about me, this is you, but I do like my cars. So Greg also nailed this in the opening, again, teed it up for me. What I want you guys to do is go from being controlled to being the controller. Okay? Own your own business, own your competition. You want to own everything about it, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you've been doing it as long as I have, you're going to get sick and tired of creating accounts over and over and all these things. Like, you're going to get sick of it, especially when you start to make enough money to where you can kind of start to get lazy, okay? So the idea is you want to control everything. You want nothing out of your control. You're going to get sick of having things out of your control. So we're going to try to leapfrog you guys from being controlled to being the controller, all right? So how to leverage black hat, big and fast money, and safe, okay? Unless you consider losing an account not safe. We're going to talk about some data collection and monetization. How many of you guys saw my webinar I did with Greg, just out of curiosity, so I know how fast I can? Awesome, most of you. Cool. So we're going to skip through some of the things I already talked about. Not skip through, but we'll go through quickly. We're going to talk about the best method I've ever seen to get to $250,000 a month. I've shown it to. It's such a good method. Every time I show this, I only showed this to people that would pay rev share, right? Greg has seen this like 15 times now. So The deal is they pay a stupid amount of money. I show them how to do it, but they're supposed to pay me 50%. What happens is, once they learn the method, they pay the stupid amount of money, they learn the method, after 2 months, they disappear. Why do they disappear? It's because they're crushing it, right? They're making a lot of money. So we're going to talk about that specific method. The ability to run any ad that you want, bypassing Google and Facebook and all these approvals and things, we're going to talk about that as well, okay? And we talked, you guys saw the webinar, so you know the whole, we can get clicks and, premium banner placements, and basically I'm going to show you how you can kind of run your own CPV network. You can take over the organic results and completely control those, and you can create banners that don't even exist, right? You guys might remember the Craigslist example that I showed. So the Black Hat stuff will help you get an unfair advantage because there are a lot of wimps out there, a lot of them. And because you guys are still here, I know you're not wimps, you're going to have an unfair advantage here if you start to implement some of these things. You're going to be able to do some damage. Now, if you don't start implementing these things, I can tell you right now, it's going to be difficult for you to compete because when we're making a lot more on margin, the guys that are using these things, than you are, you're either going to do it or you're not. Okay, it's steroids in baseball. You're going to get, you're going to compete or not. Are you a wimp or not? Right? So nothing illegal. I'm not saying do anything illegal. I'm saying, and the cool thing is about this, let's talk about the Black Hat mindset. So a wise man once said, if you aren't willing to cheat, you don't want to win bad enough. Does anybody know who said that? Jesus actually said that. I'm serious. Wait, no. Okay, Luke, I said that. I said that. Jesus would have said it if he would have, And think about this. And when I say cheat, that's not really, that word is thrown in there to get the laugh, right? I don't mean cheat. I mean take advantage of the rule book is what I mean, okay? You want to take advantage of every possible thing you're given so that you can win. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're not willing to win bad enough. Period. Okay? You're a wimp. That's the way it works. So, break the rules. A good example of this, large commercial construction companies that have to compete on pricing will factor in their lawsuits into their profitability, right? So they'll factor in licensing, lawsuits, regulations, and they'll figure out which ones they're going to follow and which ones they're going to ditch so that they can compete for pricing. That's part of the business model. Okay, so they might not get exactly the right insurance coverage. They might hire illegal workers, right? Whatever it is, and that's factored in. So they're breaking the rules, but they have to compete, right? That's just part of the game. And you guys are going to have to do that too in affiliate marketing sooner or later, and it's getting more and more difficult. Back in the day, we literally could give Google, and we eventually got credit with Google, basically 50 credit cards and said spend as much as you want because there was like no competition. We were paying a penny a click and crushing it. Right? That doesn't exist anymore because it's becoming more and more competitive. Just like the construction companies have a difficult time competing unless they break the rules. We're getting to the point, guys, in online marketing to where if you want to win, you've got to break the rules. A wise man once said that. You're going to lose commissions. Get over it. Just like the commercial construction company gets hit with fines and lawsuits. That's part of the business. Part of it. So just get ready. You're going to be owed $50,000 from a network, and they're going to either disappear or not pay you or whatever. Just be prepared because it's going to happen. Right? So if you know what's going to happen, you can react better. You can react without emotion, which you either learn to do because somebody tells you about it to expect it, or you do like I did and you lose your mind like the first 15 times it happens, and then you realize, okay, yeah, it's probably going to happen again. Okay? Somebody's going to screw you over. That's going to happen too. Be prepared. And you're going to fail over and over. Over and over. So just be ready for that, okay? So the mindset, I know it sounds like generic theory and whatever. Yeah, who gives a crap? Let's get to specifics. If you don't have this stuff down, you'll never, ever make it. Ever. Okay? You have to have this first. How many speakers have said that so far? I've seen 3 so far, and all 3 of them have said it. There's a reason that we talk about mindset. If this was just theory and stuff, you guys probably know I'm blunt enough by now to just nix it. I wouldn't be talking about this crap if I didn't think it was really going to help you, okay? So, you're going to get criticized. You're competing. You will get in trouble. You're going to feel like you're at the principal's office. You get used to that weird feeling in your stomach, and it goes away. Right? Because soon you start to get rewarded with extra recesses and stuff when you go down there. They start to feed you pizza when you go down to the principal's office and all kinds of cool things. Okay? So just be able to control that. And the way you control it is knowing it's coming. Because when you don't know it's coming and it's a surprise, it's hard to control those things. So you just have to know it's coming. You got to be a fighter, okay? Here are the misconceptions about this whole thing. This is why I said it's the safest thing typically. Black hat, a lot of people think black hat means illegal. No, it's not illegal. I don't like jail. No, thank you, okay? It's not about being illegal. Black hat is not illegal. It's not a short-term play, like a lot of people think it is. I have a method that a lot of guys have seen me run, the one that people disappear with or whatever, and I've been doing it for years. Like 8 years now or something. Okay? The key to these is not to be the person screwing everybody over. Your goal is break the rules, but when you do, make everybody happy about it. Make everybody just think you're the greatest thing ever because they're making money, the customer likes what you're giving them, you're making money, the network's making money, everybody's happy. All right? The merchant accounts are making money if you're an advertiser, whatever it is. Just make everybody happy while you break the rules, and then the rules quickly go away. Better to ask for forgiveness than permission, too, right? So part 1, own the data. This is huge. Own the data. Then we're going to talk about owning the traffic. Those are the 2 most important pieces of your online business. Data, traffic, that's about all you got for this type of a business, right? So data siphoning, we've talked about this. You guys saw the presentation. The idea is to collect the data, you monetize the data instantly. I'm going to show you a way that you didn't see on the webinar. You're going to lose 0% in conversion. You're going to be able to monetize that data multiple times instantly. The kicker is, which I haven't mentioned yet until today, is you can actually do this without driving any traffic at all. You don't even need traffic for it. You just need data. You just need leads. So here's how data siphoning works, right? You replicate the advertiser's landing page. You collect the data. You auto-submit that data at the same time to the advertiser's page 1. This takes a little programming. There are thousands of programmers available. Do not let that get in your way. Like, oh, I can't. Oh, my God. Oh. Who cares? Odesk, whatever. There's thousands of people that can program for you. So don't let something like auto-submitting a form get in your way. I mean, anybody can write that code. So then you monetize the data. Now let's talk about the details. I'll break it down for you so you can kind of see it, because it's kind of a weird thing to try to explain in slides. You have an offer, like this green coffee offer, right? Advertiser's page, our replicated page. Looks exactly the same. Why does it look exactly the same? Because we stole it. I mean, rewind it. We borrowed it. We borrowed it. Okay? So we now have our replicated page. What we're going to do with that, instead of sending the traffic to their offer, letting them have all the fun and all the money, we're going to send it to our replicated page that looks exactly like theirs, We're going to collect the data. Now, here's what happens. After we collect the data, two things happen at the same time. That data goes to our database, and then it goes to the advertiser's page, and it's auto-submitted automatically with software. So what happens after that? Well, now that you have the data, you can monetize the hell out of it. And if you need to know how to monetize it, go back and watch some of the Rockstar Alliance stuff I did. Go talk to Rico and his stuff. There's tons of stuff on monetizing data. I'm not going to waste your time there because you already know, you can figure that out, okay? So there's multiple ways to monetize it. So what I thought I would do is run through a little demo here for you to let you see what's going on and to also kind of give you an idea of what happens when that data is submitted. And then we're going to talk about something else. Okay, so you guys are going to have to excuse me here. I'm going to have to turn my back to you for a second. Just making sure. All right. So I want to visit a couple of specific URLs here. So. Okay. So this is, what I'm going to show you here is the actual software that sort of interfaces with this whole thing when we're collecting data and all that. So wow, this is a really small keyboard. We had some technical difficulties, guys. That's why I'm having to do this. Sorry. All right. So here's what happens. I want to show you. You guys saw the green coffee offer. Let's go ahead and pull that up just so I can show you kind of how this works live. We can just do it one more time. All right. So while that loads, let me kind of show you how this software works, the idea behind it. So what we've done here, I'm going to show you a couple of different things that you didn't see during the webinar. One is the upload leads capability, which I'm not sure we're going to be able to do because of our technical difficulties. After our break, we're going to take a break here in a minute. We'll try to get that working for you. So I want to show you that as well. But here's basically what happens. So this is the replicated page. And I know you guys can't see that very well because this is a small screen, right? But you get the idea. This is the same offer I just showed the screenshot of. So this is our replicated page. It's exactly like the advertisers. Hopefully this advertiser is not in the audience. I happen to know that he's not, for a fact. All right, so the visitor hits this page, right, your replicated page, and, you know, whatever. I'm just going to type in some stuff here. None of this really matters. Blah, blah, blah. All right, and their email. Okay. That's Greg's personal email, guys. So the person submits the form. Now notice the URL here. You'll see we go from our replicated server, right, all the way through to this newlifebrands.com. Now, what happened there? Well, this is the second page of the advertiser's site, right? This is where they actually collect the credit card information. So they've been passed directly to the advertiser's second page. How'd they get there? Well, the software automatically submitted the data for them. This is really awkward talking to you guys like this, by the way. So let's take a look and see what happened here with the leads. You can see the lead is here. Now this is the all the wimps are gone, so this is the cool shit. Watch this. I'm going to go down here. So this is the lead. And I'm going to lose an affiliate account because of this, probably. If you look, what does that say, right? What happened? Does anybody know what happened? Okay. I got to stand up because this is really weird and awkward. I'm going to spin it around or something. So, let's just call it $50, right? $50. So you're driving traffic as an affiliate, and what you're doing is you're sending your traffic to this advertiser's page. He's collecting the data, and go back and watch the replay. I give stats on what the call center closes and all that stuff, right? So you have an idea what they're doing. So that's all you get, right? You got nothing here normally. You normally get nothing. So I got $50 on that, right? The way it works is, and again, I would recommend keeping this information in this room, guys. Because the more people that talk about this, you see that 40, what is that? What did we do? $47? Actually, it's a little higher because I got a bump on the auto insurance offer. Because they liked my traffic. $47 will quickly go to 37, 27, right? So be smart about this a little bit. Don't go crazy with it. And everybody, like, there's plenty of room for a couple hundred people to do this, but not a couple 100,000. All right, so what happens is we collected the data. Remember when I said the software, the programming auto-submits that information to the advertiser's page and then they're redirected? Well, why don't you just auto-submit it to a bunch of offers? Right? The reason most people don't is because they go, well, yeah, but it's not going to convert for the advertiser because, this is on a forum. You're going to see it. I guarantee you somebody here is going to go on a forum and say, this is what Luke Sample said, and then some moron who's never made a dime in his life is going to get on there, and here's what he's going to say. I bet I nail it, almost word for word. Yeah, but you guys already know he's going to get banned because, you see this auto insurance offer, like, he's not going to be able to, they're not going to make any money off of that lead. So? And that's not really true. They are going to make money off of it because typically these advertisers, if it's real live data, real people going through, they will be able to monetize that and make really good money from it. Okay? They will be able to. That's why I got a bump on the auto insurance offer. So the guy that says, oh, they're not going to like your leads, but I got a bump. So you can listen to the guy on the forum or try it, and not be scared. And so what's going to happen next, here's what's going to happen next. So that one guy's going to go, okay, I'm going to listen to Luke and try it. And then he's going to try 4 offers, and 2 of them are going to ban him because it didn't back out for the advertiser, and then he's going to say, see, the guy on the forum was right. You got to try more than 4 offers. So this is where you have to find what advertisers are able to monetize very well, and they'll take that data and still make money with it and let you keep rolling it through. Or you can do the whole churn and burn thing, where you have 500 offers and you submit 3 on each rotation, and you just go through like crazy. That's another thing. If you don't have at least 100 networks under your belt, you better get 100 networks under your belt because you're going to need it. Because what you want to do is you want to find all the advertisers that like the data still, and then guess what happens? What would I talk about in the beginning? The safest way to make $50,000 a month is Black Hat, and everybody goes, oh yeah, well nobody's going to like the leads or whatever. Once you find the advertisers that do like the leads, then you're locked in. It's game over. You only have to have a couple to like the leads, and you start making a ton of money. And that's super safe. And then you can pay a lot for that data because you're monetizing it, right? So, does that make sense to everybody? Does everybody understand? The data comes in, it's auto-submitted to the advertiser's page, and then they go through completely transparent. Now, here's the kicker to keep you legally safe. And again, I'm not an attorney. I'm just telling you what I've heard. So, what I've heard is your opt-in form is what matters. You control the terms of service of that opt-in form, remember? You're taking that advertiser's page and you're putting it on your own server. Well, you can change that text to say whatever you want. And guess what your text says? You're opting in for third-party information and advertisements, which they're doing anyway. You typically don't have to change it because the advertiser's already saying it. Okay? You can get in some hot water there. Email is a scary place to be if you're not following canned spam and all that, right? So you want to make sure that your privacy policy and your terms of service state, once you got the data, you can do whatever, blast it around, whatever. So that's how you do it with traffic. This can be done without traffic. How do you do it without traffic? Well, it's simple. The software works exactly the same way. No matter if the lead puts their information in or if you put their information in. Yeah, but the IP addresses are going to match. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck. Fuck me. You're right, it's not. Keep driving your Taurus. I still have everybody here. Totally expected that to get rid of some people. So here, I don't have the file. We'll get it. I'll show you guys how this works. But basically, the way this works, again, you find the advertisers that like your leads and like your data. You find a good data source, and you click the Upload Leads button, and you upload a CSV file. You choose the offers to be auto-submitted with a simple checkbox for which you can pay an Odesk $1 an hour a person. Or you can automate this. And then you click Upload and Submit. $50. How many leads can you buy for less than $50? Now here's the thing. The forum guy is semi-right. The leads have to be good. Because the goal, again, going back to it, you want to make everybody happy. That's the goal. Because you will waste your time with Black Hat if you really like super Black Hatting it and nobody's getting anything good, right? So just remember, if you're getting $50 a lead, what can you pay? Well, you can pay $49.99. I probably wouldn't pay that much. But you can give them really good leads and make sure that they're happy, or you'll get a better chance that they'll be happy. Right? So where can you get data? You can get data everywhere. I don't need to go through that. You can find that information elsewhere. Okay? You can't find this information elsewhere, or at least somebody that's doing it to tell that says it's working. Now, the other thing that can happen with the software, this is how we do it. I'll show you what we do. So we've got all this traffic coming in. We're siphoning the data off. We're auto-submitting it. But then you still got the data after the auto-submit. The $40 is a drop in the bucket to what you can do long-term with the data. And there's multiple ways to do it. again, talk to Rico about that, or we have some Rockstar Alliance stuff on monetization. Right? If I could show, let's see here. Well, we'll come back to that after the break because I want to kind of get to that. What happens in our back end is we have some built-in monetization already ready to go. And what happens is, and you can do this without even having to know anything, because you can get data monetizers to email your data for you and rev share with you. Yeah, but what if they steal my data? What if they don't pay me my 50%? What are you out if they don't? Who cares? Right? So there's a bunch of people that will mail your data for you and rev share. There's call floors that will call your data, depending on what type of data you're collecting, obviously. But assuming you're driving traffic for like auto insurance or supplements or education leads or whatever, they're putting in their phone number, then you can collect that information and a call floor can monetize it. You guys have heard, I think you guys heard about direct mail already, right? Did he talk already? He did? Okay. So that's there as well, if you're collecting the address. So the data goes much further than just that initial monetization that you do with it on the auto submits, right? That's just gravy and icing. And for you guys that are a little worried about the advertisers or whatever, and you're kind of wimpy, you don't have to do the auto submits. You can just collect the data and then use the rest of the monetization on it, okay? So does that make sense so far? So that's how we're going to make, $50 on an opt-in instead of losing money on an opt-in. And that is why I explained in the beginning, as it becomes more competitive and more people are using systems like this, and there are a lot of guys that have better systems, bigger systems than I do, that's going to be hard to compete with, right? So I'll tell you what we'll do. We're about getting close to 9 here. Why don't we take a break? We have to fix some technical things so you guys don't have to look at my back when I do the next demo. And then we're going to come back and talk about the traffic portion. Now you own the data, let's come back and talk about how to own the traffic, which I think is the coolest and most important part. Okay? So let's take just a little break. We'll fix some stuff and we'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, so I think we have everything sorted out to where I give you guys some cool demos here. So what I wanted to do before we got into the traffic portion, I wanted to talk a little bit about, give you guys an idea of what that last system can do. I forgot we had somebody in the house that has a lot of experience kind of with running it. So I'll ask him to maybe come up and just say a couple things. I got a couple questions for him. But here's what you can do with this. This is from a person who was, I think they had 2 CPA network accounts and they bought like a couple of ClickBank products. But they had a little extra money. He came to me and I did the whole system that I just talked about, which is similar to the auto submission system, but it's slightly more manual. It's a little more advanced than what we just talked about with the auto submission system, but it's very similar. So he did, in his first 30 days, he did $24,000 profit. Now the cool thing about that was he didn't risk any money. Well, he did. It was like $300 to buy his first batch of leads, right? So again, Black Hat is the safe way to a lot of money. That's tough to do with paid traffic. Okay, it's tough to kind of have a guaranteed return with paid traffic, or just only spend $300 and know that you're going to come out with $25,000. And then the second month he did 31. So that was $55,000 in the first 2 months from somebody who just started. What do you think he did the third month? He freaking disappeared. And I'm not kidding. He disappeared. He's gone. Never to be seen again. Except I think he made a couple posts on the Word for him one day. So And I had the opportunity to know his lead source, so I knew he bought leads for nearly, I guess going on almost a year and a half. So you can tell me if you think he's doing well or not. Nice guy. So, $250,000 a month. I've had 3 separate students hit $250,000 a month. 2 of them partnered up and stuck around, which is really cool. And they built the business and did really well with it. And then, I'm not sure what my next slide is here. I just want to make sure I'm not, okay. And then I found out that they started working with one of our other guys and a good buddy of mine. And I know he's done really well with the method. So, Kevin? Kevin, you here? There's my man. You guys got to hear from Kevin earlier today, didn't you? Yeah. Friggin' stud, isn't he? The first time I got a good indication of Kevin and his work ethic and capabilities was he was in our mastermind. And I can't exactly remember what the task was, but everybody was kind of doing something. And like everybody came back with like, well, this guy half did it. You know, I didn't really want to do it. And Kevin came back and was like, I did 4,000. It's like, what? He's a freaking animal. He was all over the place. So Kevin has some experience here in the blob method. And I just want to ask you a couple of questions, Kevin, and you don't have to give any details. And guys, please don't bombard Kevin after this, because he's being gracious enough to come up here and kind of tell you kind of what he's seen. Now, I know you know what TJ and those guys were doing. Yeah. Do you know what their average was, what they were doing before? Like, from my understanding, it was well over 5,000 a day for quite a while. Then they spread it out. Now, so they were doing pretty well. I know you guys shared some resources. Mm-hmm. What was your best days doing this? And I know you didn't do it full time. You're doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't track it daily. I tracked it monthly, right?
Okay.
I have that same spreadsheet that you have.
Yeah, the same exact one. Yeah. I've seen it a few times.
And
I actually got it back from some other guy who wanted coaching. So somehow my spreadsheet got around.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because it's the same one. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah. We tracked it monthly, and I think the best month was somewhere around 180,000.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Go ahead, Kevin. Thanks, man. Thanks. So, Kevin, not scared, and a freaking animal when it comes to taking action. Now, I know Kevin's doing a lot of other things now, and I don't know how much he's paying attention to that business anymore, but I know one of my good buddies who unfortunately passed, I know Kevin kind of took his business over. And they did very well with it. So that's the kind of ability you have with a system like this, which is pretty safe, fairly guaranteed, but again, it's not for the faint of heart. Okay, it's not. So you got to be ready to go through the whole thing. It's a nail-biting beginning. You've got money at risk all the time, as my buddy TJ used to say, and it's not easy. But it's the best way I know to get to numbers like $150,000, $180,000 a month without having been in the industry for a long time and a bunch of money to put up, okay? So I call that the blob system, and that's kind of what you guys saw there. So let's get on to part 2, and I completely changed this up because it's 2 separate worlds. Data is a whole game, and this is a whole different game. And I'm going to try to go fast, guys, because I know it's getting late, and you guys do not care to hear me ramble very much longer, I'm sure. Okay. So, it's time to own your own traffic. And I mean, own your own traffic. Not be able to generate your own traffic, own it, the whole thing, okay? How do we accomplish that? Now, one thing I want to mention, which you guys can go, I'm not going to waste our time on this, you guys can go back and watch the replay of the webinar where I did basically site sniffing. A lot of guys have come out with like these little products now, and they typically call them little hijackers, like Trust Jacker or something like that. There's a couple other ones. Similar to those, the idea is that's just the first tiny little piece. Okay? And I call it site sniffing. They call it hijacking, which is probably a more accurate term. You're basically leveraging authority websites, but you're taking full monetization control of that website. You're collecting opt-ins and you're doing pop-ups. In the example I gave, I just selected iTunes, and we can do a demo if we need to, but let's skip it for now because there's cooler stuff. But basically, iTunes, you kind of, it's similar to the advertiser thing where you kind of hijack the page, it becomes yours, and then you can run pop-ups on it to collect data and things like that. So the example I gave during the webinar, you'll probably remember, was I think it was an iPhone 5, or it was either iPad or an iPhone 5. So there's hundreds of those offers where you can make a few bucks for an email submit, right? So when you go to what looks like iTunes, the thing pops up. You put in your email address. You know, they put in their email address, and you get $3. Those conversions are really high because it looks like iTunes. But here's the problem with that. And this was the problem with those products that were released, and whether or not these guys really knew how to leverage that or not, I don't know. But there's a much better way to do that. The idea in sending somebody to your own site and making it appear to be yours is that it should appear to be yours, right? It should actually, instead of saying, it should not appear to be yours. Instead of saying, go to this website and then people are going to pay attention to the URLs, if you're ranking number 1 in the search engines and your thing says apple.com, when they click on it and it has Apple, they're not going to look at the URL address bar. They do if you're trying to do CPV or something like that. So you're not going to get near the conversions. So the reason I bring this up, this concept, and showed it on the webinar, is because it's used in one of the methods that I'm going to talk about. So just be aware, this is kind of like, adding and subtracting before you multiply. This is the addition and subtraction here. We can utilize and get a little creative by hijacking the authority of these sites and increase our conversion, okay? In kind of a secretive way, which you'll see. So just be aware of that and kind of think of how that can be used creatively. So you guys already know, when I asked on Greg's webinar, I was like, okay, who thinks this is possible? And it was awesome watching the questions roll through. It was like, look, do you think you can run any ad you want and bypass Google? And you guys know the whole story, right? It clicks on AdWords for 0 and all that. So is it possible? Yeah, it is. And that's what this system does. Full, complete control of your traffic, and not only your traffic, but your visitors' eyeballs, no matter where they go. So it's like, I hate to even compare it to retargeting because it's not even close to the same thing, but it's kind of that concept, like you control everything they see. So, one rule, please. Can we officially ban the magic wand? We're not going to call this the magic wand. On the webinar, you guys will remember, I hid what I was doing, and then, on the screen you saw what happened live, and I said a couple of times, like a goofball, I'm going to go over here to my magic wand, and I did it. And so, fairies and princesses have magic wands, black hat marketers do not, so we're changing the name. It is Stealth Jacker. Thank you. I had a problem with the magic wand because I don't know, for whatever reason it caught on, and everybody's like, "Hey, are you going to show your magic wand?" And I was like, I just felt really awkward. Like, that's it. I'm changing it. So if it's officially Stealth Jacker. So are you going to show me your Stealth Jacker? That's way cooler. So the Stealth Jacker, I feel like I need one of those echoes, like Jacker, Jacker, Jacker. These are some of the things that it does. We utilize it for search engines, for both the organic and the sponsored results. We can do site-targeted pop-ups just like CPV. There's actually contextual targeted pop-ups. There's other ways to target, but suffice to say, you can do your own pop-ups. You can redirect, which is really cool. So let's say you're going, you hijack the search results, This is just a creative thing you can do. I just want you guys to kind of start thinking in this way for a second. So we can hijack the search results for, let's pick something like a 55-inch TV. Okay, so we hijack the search results. We get number 1 for 55-inch TV. It looks like they're going to Amazon, and they do. Except when they click on it, they go through your affiliate link straight through Amazon. Now that's fine and dandy, right? But what if you can do some even crazier things, like find other affiliate links online and change those to yours? So every single thing the person buys, if you're a member of that affiliate program as an affiliate, you're going to get a commission on it instead of somebody else. So my family's going to eat, their family's not. Okay? So, I'm sorry. Slightly different than cookie stuffing, but similar. Cookie stuffing can also be done with this. This is just straight redirect. So basically, you're rewriting the URL, replacing the affiliate ID with your own, and you start out with the huge sites and you work your way down as you build these campaigns in the software, which I'll show you in a second. So those are redirects. If you want somebody to go to Google, let's say they go to Bing and you're like, no, I know better than that. We're going to send them to Google because it's better. Well, you can just redirect Bing to Google. And they keep typing in Bing and then it goes to Google. And Bing and then it goes to Google. They don't know what the hell's going on. Which is kind of funny. Not really going to make you a lot of money. There are much better ways to make money, but that is a fun game to play. Yeah. There are other cool things you can do. So also banner injection. You guys saw a couple of examples of that. We're going to see more. Facebook, obviously, you guys already know that's where it is. Everybody logs into Facebook and they're there. So you need to take control of that. Both the sponsored, again, kind of like the search engines where we do both the organic and the sponsored. We do the sponsored, we do the posts and the regular ads and that whole thing. And then there's way more that we've built in to the system. So let's do a couple demos and show you guys how this works so you guys can see the stealth jacker. I'm not even going to say the other word. All right. Let me do this for just a second, so don't freak out, guys. I'm just going to... Don't worry, I'm not hiding it from you this time. Just changing this around. All right. Let's go ahead. So, oh, that's not going to start over on me, is it? Okay. Can we show this one? The screen here? Yeah. It just toggles, right? On, off, on, off? Yeah. Okay. We thought we had the technical stuff fixed. Well, it turns out you guys don't get to see the magic, the stealth jacker. Funky here. Okay, now we've got that back. Great. The Chrome. Maybe if we just close the PowerPoint. Is it trying to pull PowerPoint continually? Shouldn't. It's really strange. Just curious. So some conflict there. Okay. So this is like a development beta version of this, okay? Looks similar to Lead Stealth because it kind of is. All right, so let's go through and I'll show you. We'll create a couple of campaigns and then we'll go check them live. So let's get into the demo. And it's ugly, guys, but it's beta, like I said, so I don't really care about what it looks like if it makes money. All right, so let's play around with the search results for a minute. Let me show you how this works. Let's do the iPhone 5. Now, this is what I was doing on my other monitor when you guys saw the presentation. So I want to take this out for a second. I'm going to save this campaign. And then it's going to go straight here. It did not redirect me to Bing, which is good. And so let's do a search for iPhone 5. Or let's just actually do, so iPhone 5, one word, let's do a search. And this is what we see, okay? These are the search results that come up. Now what happens when I target the keyword iPhone 5 with my ad here, and you can see it's really simple to do the ad. I name it, I determine am I going to take organic results, sponsored results, or there's another thing called link replacement, which we'll get into later maybe. I put in the keyword I want to target, the title, the body, the display URL, and then the destination URL. So you make the display URL, don't be scared, think about this for a second. You can make the display URL different than the destination URL, okay? I feel like I'm not giving the other side of the room love. Okay, so let's go ahead. So now all of a sudden, we can get a free iPhone 5 as the #1 organic result. And remember what I said about using the trust hijacking. We went to Apple and we're 29 of 100 winners, and we got a new free iPhone 5. Holy shit. How did that happen? Okay, so that's an example, not a very good one. That's just something that's just a real generic one that you can do. That's what I was doing with the magic wand, okay? That was the first one. Now, what's actually happening here before we go on to the rest of the examples, and I'll show you each kind, the pops and all that stuff. Obviously, the computer has to have something installed on it to make this work, okay? And so now here comes Mr. Fong going, yeah, how do you get this installed? Okay, this is where you can be creative again, and I'm going to show you some examples at the end, but it's a browser extension is what it is. Okay, it's just a browser extension. It's not an EXE, it's a browser extension. There's benefits to a browser extension. Now the thing with browser extensions, in order to be a good, solid extension that you can get a lot of installs on Chrome, you need to be in the Chrome store. If you're in the Chrome store, you can get easy installs, no security issues and things like that. Firefox is easier, and that's the two I focus on. Don't care about Internet Explorer at this point. Internet Explorer is a whole different ballgame, which I don't really care about. The market share is small enough to where we could never max out Chrome and Firefox anyway. We can make more money just sticking with those two and ramping campaigns up, okay? So this is a browser extension, and I'm going to show you how to get installs and how easy it is. Because technically, if you do it right, and I'm just going to briefly mention this, I won't get into it in too much detail, which, by the way, I know this is being recorded. I hope the live stream is doing good. Everybody wave to the live stream. You guys got 4 waves, so nobody gives a damn about you guys at home. I'm not sure how deep I want to go into this just yet before you guys see a couple more examples. But the bottom line is, you get installs, you can get just a couple, those two can turn themselves into 200,000 real quick. Okay? If you think about what I said there for a little bit, you'll probably start to think, what are words that I can, word association, Butter, great one. Butter. Who said, Mo from the Three Stooges used to say something out. So if you're not a Three Stooges fan, you should be. They'll make you more money if you are. So there are easy ways to get installs, and we'll talk about. You can turn 2 into a lot more, or you can do them one at a time. You can purchase installs as well. Okay, that can be done. You can find those. So let's go look at some more specific campaigns, and then we'll get into how to get these installs. So here's what the wimps in the audience are thinking, and I know there are a few of you out there that are hiding. You're thinking, well, that's the catch. You got to get installs. I just said we can get 2 and turn those into 200,000 really fast and really easy. You can buy them, or you guys know a ton of ways to drive traffic. I'm not going to train on traffic. There's been awesome training on that already. You guys already have more than enough to be able to drive traffic to the pages I'm going to show you and what they look like and make it happen. It's super easy, okay? So don't let that freak you out while we go through this. But I wanted to mention what it was while showing the demo so that you could kind of think about how this works, okay? So that's the first one. Let's do a couple of other ones. Let's just go through some of the things the software can do. So let's do a couple of other organic searches just to see what. So this is, well, actually that won't come up because it's geo-targeted to me. You guys saw that one on the webinar. You guys already know the skin one, right? So again, think about this. If you have, let's just say you have a really small amount. Let's say you have 5,000 people, all have your extension installed on their machine, only 5,000, and they, average how many ever page views it is. It depends on your demographic. It could be 10, it could be hundreds, depending on your demographic. That's a lot of freaking page views. How much do you think it would cost to buy all those banners? Because guess what? You own every single banner now. How much do you think it would cost to get your search result for all of the top? You could just start with the CPA offers. Green coffee, guess what? I'm number 1, and number 2, and number 3, and the sponsored results. You control everything. So I saw somebody on the Facebook group, Wimpy, won't call you out by name, but that said, yeah, but you got to get a bunch of, if it's an extension, you got to get a bunch of installs. If you can't make a lot of money, like just think if you only could control one person. Let's just say you've got one person, and they get on their machine 5 times a week for an hour. And that's below average. And they serve 30 pages. You don't think that you could be creative enough with hijacking every search result, every banner, pop-ups, redirects? You can't be creative enough to make a few dollars off of just one person? That's crazy. You do not need a lot of installs. What you need are a lot of campaigns. Because the more you control, the more you make. That's the key. Because I can have 100,000 installs, and if all I'm doing is ranking number 1 for iPhone 5, I'm not getting a lot of action on that. I mean, I'm going to get some, but it's not going to be a lot. But if I'm controlling all the searches for all major affiliate keywords, all of them, everything that pays out well, all debt stuff, all credit stuff, all EDU stuff, all the green coffee stuff, all supplements, all weight loss, all of those. So if you have a huge amount of campaigns and 5 people that have the thing installed on their machine, you could still make some good money. Okay, so this is not about the number of installs. That helps you exponentially increase your earnings. The first part of this is building a ton of these campaigns creatively. That's the key. Okay? So that's what I want to show you, the different types of campaigns. And you can kind of think here creatively, but this is a skincare campaign, and it's just targeting 2 keywords. And so I'll just give you, again, an example here. Obviously, you know what's going to happen here. We'll do skincare, one word. Greg and Luke have some freaking skin. How much do you think that ad would cost? It's a pretty good little chunk. Yeah, I mean, especially too much when all you're doing is buying that ad. Now, here's where it all starts to come together. So stick with me here. Now we're getting to the calculus level. We're building. We're building. Think about you're an affiliate. First of all, you can't get your ad approved anyway. Second of all, assuming you did, and all you did then was drive them to an affiliate offer, so you got whatever it was, a small percentage of conversion, because you're not going to be able to use the advertorial and get that approved. So you lose out on that. Plus, you didn't collect the data because you weren't data siphoning. So now you don't get your auto submits either, and now you don't get long-term data. But guess what? I am. So that's going to be tough to compete with, right? So that's the kind of thing you need to be thinking about, piecing all of these things together, data and own it, and traffic and own it, okay? So if we click on this, now I'm just going to, I just put in lifestyle skin, right? But normally what we would do here, obviously, is drive it to one of our data siphoning offers so that we collected the data and still got the commissions, right? Actually, what would probably happen is if they would go to an advertorial first from the Google ad and then to this, which would be a data siphoning page, okay? So now you see how it's you kind of put it all together. So with all the pieces in the chain, you can destroy it. With just a couple, you can still do pretty good. Much better than all the other, yahoos out there just doing the only affiliate stuff, okay? So let's go on to a couple of other ones that you guys haven't seen yet. So pop-ups. Here's a quick example of a pop-up. You can use pop-ups for all kinds of cool stuff. Obviously, they can be used for cookie stuffing. They can be used for, if you guys are familiar with CPV at all, this is basically like owning your own CPV network with no rules, and you can buy all the main targets for free, right? So the idea here, let's go ahead and look at this one. This is just an example. I'm just popping up, just as a silly example, a Best Buy's website on Target's website. So, and I don't know how, this is not my computer, so I'm not sure how how hardcore the pop-up blockers are or anything, but okay, so I'm going to allow this just so you guys can see it. Again, same problem, same thing with CPV, but so there you go. Now think if you could do, now that was a dumb example, right? That doesn't make much sense, obviously. But here's an example. I could have put a Target gift card in here, just like the iPhone thing. So you can start to see it's about the campaigns. How many of these can I get? Because I need one on Best Buy, I need one on Walmart, I need something on eBay, I need something on Facebook. Go to Alexa. It's real simple. You go to Alexa and you start there. And that's how you start building your campaigns. Okay? All right, so let's go to another one. So that's a pop-up. You saw how that worked. Pretty straightforward. Saw the redirect is nothing. I mean, it just takes you to, we don't waste any time on that. Let's go to some banners. Here's what I was doing, again, on the presentation that you guys saw. All I did, so the way this works, and there's a couple of different ways to target banners. The way it's currently working now in beta in this particular version, it's based on size. Okay, so it recognizes an ad based on the size. You put in your image that you want, and it replaces that banner. Now, there are potential legal issues with completely replacing a banner. So there are options for banner replacement and banner injecting, which means we put another banner on top and it pushes the other one down. So now instead of one square, you got two. You could definitely get away with that, and there are ways to get away with completely replacing. See your lawyer. Basically, you have to mark it as a sponsored result, and the software will do that. But bottom line is, let's go look, and I'll show you what we did here. So like, here's an example. This is ABC. All right? That's mine and Greg's banner, which probably would make a lot of money. A lot of people would click on that. Not sure what they, whatever. But so again, I'm not giving you guys specific examples here. Obviously, that's just a demo. But the idea here, you'll see that I switched that to, and the connection is kind of slow here. So what you'll see happen, if we're real time here. All right, you'll see the ad pop up, and their ad popped up because I said it was 251. So this is what I did in the background during the webinar that you guys didn't see. I simply went over to my other screen, and I went, boom, 250, so that it would target properly that banner because I know it's 250, and then refreshed, and then we should own ABC again here in just a second. Now you see that pop up and we crushed it, right? So that's what I was doing behind the scenes. That will target everywhere. The way I currently have it set up, you could target specific URLs only, or you can go crazy, run a network, and every 250 banner you can, Greg and Luke can own on every single page they visit. Okay? Now that's some retargeting there. So IMDb, we can do another replacement here. Same thing. So now, again, going back to, if you control every single banner the person sees, every single banner, I hate to say every single banner, I mean, you're going to control the typical sizes is where you're going to start. If somebody has a funky banner size, it's not going to necessarily replace that because we can't possibly know every single site and what their banners are. However, the 99.98% of traffic or whatever is going through the main sites and the main ad networks, which all have conventional sizes. So you get all the traffic anyway. So I hate to say every. Some guy on a forum will say, he said everyone. Look at this one here. So the idea is to basically own every single banner. Okay? Now, we can do the same thing to this banner up here if we want. All I need to do is upload another campaign just like this, and I don't have one to show you, but basically, I name it. I can do a size here, and there'll be, again, this is the beta version, but there are multiple sizes. And then you select your height and width that you want it to replace, your destination URL, you upload that new image, which will be long flat, right, not the square, and it would replace. Okay, it would put it up there. So on every site that it would find that size banner. Okay? You guys follow so far? Not rocket science, but fun. Okay, so that's banners. Facebook. Here's how the Facebook thing works. It works the same way. It's not difficult. So when I want to create a Facebook campaign, I just click on this. Again, this one, you just name it, title it, body, destination URL, the whole thing. You upload your image, and then it's either a sponsored result or a suggested, right? That's the way the Facebook thing works. And so what we'll do here, somebody's going to talk to me for sure on Facebook. I already know it. So there's Greg still. He's sold out, right? Awesome. Awesome. I love it. So this is like super slow, but actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to switch it up so it doesn't... Let's do this. So that's what I did on the webinar. You'll remember I just switched from a sponsored result to a suggested result. That's all I did. And I may have to re-log in here. That's the problem. But there we go, right? So Greg's like crushed. He's got 2 banners there. All right, let's go back and let's just do the other one just for the heck of it. So that was a sponsored. Let's go to the suggested. I'll show you how that works. Now this should work now because it... So you guys can kind of see what that looks like. So you see there's a suggested post there, the free clicks. So they're set up the same way. So it's as simple as that. Okay? So that is, let's see if, I think that we got all the main campaign types I wanted to talk about. Let's just make sure. So yeah, so search results, pop-ups, redirects, banners, Facebook, you can do the whole thing. Now here's the funny thing. A lot of people just are taking this at face value, like, oh, I can do a pop-up on a site. No, don't forget, there's a lot of things you can do with a pop-up. Same thing with the search results, right? It's not just putting an ad there and going through the process. So let's pull this up. Go back to PowerPoint. You guys already got the warning. You don't need another one, right? All right. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now because we're going to go right back to a couple examples. I just want to make sure I covered everything here. Let's talk about installs. I'll show you a couple examples, and you guys can kind of see them and see kind of how you can get creative and how we've done it. Now, going back to the installs, you get one, you can get more. You can drive those initial installs any way that you want. Doesn't matter. It's just regular traffic, right? You're going to see. You can do email, media buy, CPV, Facebook, whatever. Whatever kind of traffic you guys want to drive to get your install, you can. Okay. So let's take a look at a couple examples. I have a couple on my phone here that I wanted to pull up and show you guys. Show you guys kind of how some of these guys get a little creative. So let's start here with this one. All right, so we've got, where you're going to see a lot of these, this will kind of let you see what's working currently. If you go to a lot of forums that have, like, they're giving away software and cracks or whatever, I've heard these exist, I don't know if they do. But they will do the file sharing thing and then they'll mirror it on all these other file sharing services, right? And some of them are big file sharing services and some of them are these smaller services that are sometimes a little shady, a little funky. And you've probably done this, like you'll click on the download button, you're like, what the hell are sending me an exe? No thank you, right, or whatever. So you can use those types of sites. That's where I recommend going as just one example. To be able to see what you should do with the traffic and what you should do with your banner ads, what type of sites you should target to get installs. Because if you think about it, you don't want to do a CPV pop-up on eBay.com to try to get somebody to install your extension unless you have an extension that also has some kind of an eBay component, right? Find the best deal, some kind of sniper. So that's the other piece you need to think about. The extension can do something if you want it to, and at the same time take over the browser, or it doesn't have to. All right, it can be an empty install if you really wanted it to be. You can just redirect somewhere, or whatever you want it to be, a little timer. It could be anything. So the more creative you are with the program you tie it to, or the extension you tie it to, the more installs you can get. Okay? So just kind of be aware of that while you're looking at some of these ads. So let's see, I pulled up one of these like cheap little download sites that we can look at, and I'll give you a few ideas where you can start to kind of see how this works. So this is savemedia.com. This is a decent example. It's not perfect. Now this was just somewhere that I found on one of the forums that had mirrored a file, right? So the idea here is normally you would link directly to a file, or you can paste a URL in here. This particular one is a YouTube video downloader, which is wildly popular. So if you want to start taking over some search results, and that's the other thing, not only do you have the butter portion, turning 2 into 200,000. But the more installs you get, then the more traffic you can control in terms of other extensions that you get them to install and things like that. So you'll find a lot of times some of the same people will install multiple things. And you want that because eventually if your extension sucks or they get tired of using it or whatever, they'll delete it. And then guess what? Then you don't have them anymore. They're gone. Okay? So one of the key concepts here is you want your extension to be transparent, fairly transparent. Like you don't want to just crush them with pop-ups every 3 seconds because they're going to go, what the hell happened to my computer? And they're going to uninstall the extension. Again, the idea is going back to everybody wins. You want the user to win, and you want to win. That's the key. So this is an example. Obviously, people are going to click the download button, right? So this is a banner. It's a full, you can see that it doesn't. My cursor doesn't change as it hovers over the entire thing, right? So you can kind of highlight this and see it's an image. All right. Now there are all kinds of those. I'm not going to go through a ridiculous amount of them. Let me show you. I want to see if I can get you to this one specific one, which I actually just found today. Wow, that's a pretty good one. So I swiped it immediately. CNET's a decent example of a banner. Let me just show you this while we're talking about. I kind of went the banner route there. Let's just look for a download here of something. Sponsored results. Oh shit! Look at that. Big surprise. So you can see, again, it's there all the time. I was, well, there we are again. How much did we pay for this, Greg? We're wasting our money. 0. All right, let me do one more here. I want to try to get this one that actually had a whole loader on it. Sorry I have to type these out, guys. We had those technical difficulties killing us. 6K. All right. Now this is a specific file, okay, which was shared on a forum. I don't want to give anybody any ideas. Don't share these links on forums. So free download, right? Okay, this is my file I want. I was trying to download some. This happens to be an image. You click on it. It's preparing my download, apparently. And I can download my file. I'm not going to do this because this isn't my machine, but if you look at the link down there, it's an exe. You can do the same with a browser extension file. In fact, if I remember correctly, and it may not come back up, they had a couple of different versions, and they will. So if you guys just go to these sites and you look, you'll get not only banner ideas, but specific page ideas, okay? Guys, we're getting close to wrapping up here, so let me show you guys what I got for you, what I've done. So, just as a quick, and I'll leave this up, just as a quick recap, data, own traffic, own the traffic. And then, of course, the mindset stuff, you don't want to be a wimp, because none of this stuff is going to be easy. You have, with the data, you have data collection and auto submission, and then you have what I call the blob system, which kind of puts that data collection and auto submission on steroids and includes a manual portion of it, okay, which is pretty cool. And then you have the traffic owning part, which is running browser extensions, okay, and creating your own campaigns that way and controlling every single thing that they see. All right? So, what I wanted to do is give you guys the ability, if you're interested, to utilize the same software programs that I use that you saw me use. Nobody else has ever had a chance to use them. I highly doubt anybody will have the chance to use them again. As you guys probably know, I don't really make a habit of going out and selling the programs, right? So, if you go to blackhatorder.com, I'll show you what I've got. If you guys want to use lead stealth, which will be your data siphoning and your auto submission, we can do that for $19.97 and $2.97 a month. If you can't make that with it, you're just not doing it, right? You just don't have your line in the water. So if you're driving traffic, again, this isn't for everybody. If you are a wimp and you're thinking about you might want to do this, do not. Okay? And one thing I should mention, I'm not like these other gurus. It's like, hey, 30-day money-back guarantee, and then they give you a piece of shit, and then they just hope their refunds, stay under 15% or whatever. Nope. Nope. Not with my stuff. You buy it if you're serious, and you don't if you're not. Because I don't have time to play the refund game and all that. I'm just being straight up with you. And you probably had never heard another guru stand up here and say that kind of crap. I don't have time for it. I want guys that are going to come in, be active, and give me ideas. Kevin is a good example of someone who's made me a lot of money because he's had good ideas, and he's told me, he's helped me, all those types of things, right? So we have a certain set of guys that I like to buy my products and do well. We end up partnering, right? I don't know if you guys know Cobra Mailer. Mark's another good example of that. Originally was part of our mastermind, is now a partner. So please don't buy if you just want to kick it around, because I don't run a guru service, and my guys don't have time to do that. So if you're serious, you can make some serious money. And if you're not, come back when you are, okay? Just being straight up. And I'm glad these are Greg's people because I can get away with saying that. Now, the blob system, Greg and I have offered to small groups, and what I like to do is train a small group, and then half of those people disappear, and then a couple other guys will stick around and make good money and crush it. So that's a $40,000 system. I've never offered it for less than $40,000 ever, and I've sold a lot of them. I had a lot of guys running it successfully. And what I want to do, Greg didn't even know I was doing this. He's probably going to be pissed at me because. So we'll do, for $5,000, we'll give you Blob 2. And the reason I did that was because lead stealth works perfectly with Blob. Okay? So you can actually use that data and use the Blob system and kick butt. So that's what you saw, the guy that did well for 2 months and then disappeared. That's what Kevin did, is $180,000 a year, or in the month. And then you saw, I talked about some other guys that did really well with it. So the reason I did this is because every single high-end coaching client that I had, and I don't do coaching anymore because no thank you. Every single one I had, this was the first thing I showed them because I knew they would crush it with it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to throw that in because it works perfectly with lead stealth. So I know Greg's going to throw something at me in a minute. And then the stealth jacker, I want a tiny amount of people because I need some people that understand traffic and that are willing to bust their butt to create a bunch of campaigns because we're going to share them. And I need guys that understand affiliate marketing and marketing in general to be able to create successful campaigns. So we want a small beta group, and that's $20,000. And it's $20,000 because it's good. This is not a ClickBank product. I don't play that game. So, I know a lot of you guys probably don't have $20,000 up front, so we've done payment plans and stuff in the past. So, you can email us. You can email me. It's not live yet, but it will be. You can just email info@leadstealth.com. Okay? Just like, hey, Luke, I don't have $20,000, but here's what I got. And we'll talk about it. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's already going to be the number of people that I want to do this in here because I already know some of the names and faces that are here that are going to just take it. So, but you're welcome to email, and I'll do my best to see if we can make it make sense. Okay? And I did that a couple times with the blob system, with people who would pay $40. So I broke it up for them into two $20,000 payments or something like that. So I wanted to come in, give you guys the opportunity to see how it works, to show you where even if you're not going to do any of this stuff, that's absolutely fine. I just want you to understand a direction where you can go, where you can be pointed. Because I've been doing this for 10 years, almost 15 actually, God. And I've done every single thing you can really think of in this industry, and this is where I've ended up doing these things. So if you can just go, okay, Luke's been doing this for 15 years, and he's already done all the stuff I'm probably going to go through, and then that's what he's doing now, then why don't you just go, why don't you just go to what you're doing now? So I wanted to give you guys what I was doing now, not something that doesn't work. So if any of you guys are interested, like I said, info@leadstealth.com, and that'll come to me. Otherwise, if you put in a deposit, the other thing I don't do is I don't take credit cards. Why do you think that is? I learned that real fast when people started disappearing, and not only didn't pay any rev share, but then they charged back $10,000. Not cool. So I don't play that game either. This also weeds out people that aren't serious. So again, that's the way I roll, okay? Love it or hate it, right? Sorry. But if you play the game, I'll play with you. So that's the idea. So if you put a deposit down, there'll be instructions on the other page. It's like you could put like $97 on your card. That's it. The rest, there's wire instructions. You can wire it right there. It comes to one of my company's accounts. And I'm not going anywhere. You guys know where to find me. I'm pretty accessible on Facebook and stuff like that. So nobody's here to take your money or anything like that, obviously. So, all right. All right. So if you guys want to, I'll take some questions. Greg, you want to let him do some questions for a minute, or do you want to? I don't even know where we are. We should be right close to 10. Cool. All right, guys. Greg, I'm done. Greg has one more super important thing to tell you, which you guys probably aren't expecting. So, Greg,
Yes.
you got one more thing?
Friends, let's give it up for Luke, Lambo Luke. Luke. Thanks, man.
Got it, brother.
That's good stuff. That's actually the first time I obviously seen the blob stuff before, but that's the first time I'd seen the stealth jacker. That's good stuff, man. Yeah, the first time I heard the name. So, that is a lot better than Magic Wand, by the way. But man, I know maybe a lot of you just kind of, this is wow. I mean, I call him Lambo Luke, and it's like, I mean, you know, you do this stuff, he'd be Lambo Larry, Lambo Kim, Lambo, I mean, I just wish that you really got what hopefully, I know some of you guys got it. This is powerful, man. I mean, it's like, own your traffic, like own it, all right? I mean, this is how you do it. And you say you heard from Kevin. You know, I've met quite a few of his students, and he's been doing it for a long time. It works. It works. And of all the stuff I could say, I've described a lot of different things he's done, and you know, he's made quite a bit of money from this and doing it the longest. So that's good stuff. All right, so real quick before I let you leave, really exciting news. Tomorrow's gonna be a real big day. You remember I told y'all not to be impressed by Mr. 50K a day because I knew somebody that made $300,000 a day. Would you be interested in hearing from this particular individual? Right? You guys ever heard of the show, The $6 Million Man? Yeah. I'm old, so a lot of you guys might not, Well, how about, you want to meet the $400 million man? Be here at 9 o'clock tomorrow. 9 o'clock tomorrow, you're going to hear from somebody that's worth over $400 million. And he has quite a story to tell. And I think that his story will help you guys out a lot. And actually, I just one other quick thing though. One other quick thing too. You're not going to believe how I met this guy. I can believe how I met him. Like you guys, if you have me on Facebook and in the groups, you probably saw some of the hate that I got, like long threads of people trying to destroy my credibility and all kinds of nasty stuff. People hating on me. Well, actually, one of this guy's Facebook friends was one of the people that was hating on me. So he's like, man, why is everybody hating on this dude? Like, who is this dude? So he looked at me, checked it out on the website. He hit me up on Facebook, reached out, talked on the phone. He's like, I'd like to speak at your event. I think I have some stuff that'll help your guys out. I'm like, well, okay. So that's how I met the guy. So it's like, you take, that's why everything happens for a reason. You take, bad situations. Like people are telling me, man, those guys are treating bad on Facebook, feeling sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me. They made me money. Just off the rip. Like I said, the first thread that people, really get to know me, I made like $10,000 that day just off of that link because the person that was trying to hate was wise enough to share the ad. He didn't copy the picture, he shared it. It was my ad. So I was able to track it. I got 5 sales at $19.97. And I was like, bump, please keep talking about it. Please, I'm a horrible person. Please keep talking about me. And out of that, situation that most people interpret as a bad situation, I met a person that's, I just met him, but I have a feeling that he's probably going to change my life, and he might change some other lives in this room. So, be here at 9 o'clock. Don't hang out. Don't party. Go back straight to your rooms. I order you no Patron tonight. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's a big day. I'm gonna start off with a bang, Mr. $400 million man, and look. I promise. Look, this is not like this is not. I'm trying to teach you how to make real money, okay? Like Lloyd says, fuck you money, all right? We not. This ain't $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. This is we talking life changing, homes, cars, just life-changing income, okay? So 9 o'clock tomorrow, be here. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. Good day. Let's go.